Hello, everyone. Welcome to our very first edition of the podcast, DFB, Deadly Fit Bodies. All right, right here I have my very own coach, mentor, all right, the person behind the vision for DFB, Sire. All right, he's calling in from California. I'm located right here in North Carolina. We work in two different time zones, but we'll make everything happen. All right, so without any further ado, Sire, how you doing today? Welcome to our very first edition of the podcast.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, man, for having me. Thank you for putting this together. This is amazing. It's a huge step forward, in our development and growth together, man. So I'm excited. I love it. Let's go.
All right, great, great. So we'll have listeners listening from every part of the country, every part of the world. People are just curious. We'll have to give them the introduction. What does DFB stand for? Deadly Fit Bodies. We
Right.
talk about deadly fit bodies, but while we're doing podcasts, what is the vision behind it? So a little bit of
Right.
introduction.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a great question. So, like you said, DFB stands for Deadly Fit Bodies. And, the vision behind that is, through my journey and my development in life to get to the stage where I'm at right now, my continuous evolution. I'm just like many people out there searching for the right answers or a good way of living or going about life. Looking and learning about science and the scientific approach towards life, or some people take the spiritual approach towards life. Some people take a physical approach towards life. And for being in the military for a vast majority of my adult life, I floated back and forth between all these different worlds, trying to find a good approach that fits me and my lifestyle. And what I realized was, you know, um, the science approach had pros and cons. The spiritual approach had pros and cons. The physical approach, all these different approaches had, things that worked very well, that were exceptional, and then certain things were it was not so well, right? It was almost incomplete. And I think just the way that I function and the way that kind of fits my life, I decided to incorporate bits and pieces of all these different approaches. So DFB essentially it's a lifestyle.
Wow.
It's just another process in which any human being can utilize in a practical way and practical method that's been proven to enhance the development of that person, towards whatever goal, whatever vision, whatever objective they're trying to accomplish in life.
Wow, wow, that is amazing. That is definitely a different way of living. That is a different way of living, not just the physical aspect of it, but, on the website right here, it has, a holistic training, holistic mindset. So tell me, like, what is different about, being holistic, when I go to your website, I expect to see just, fitness, but what are the services that DFB has to offer to the world?
Yeah, so great question, man, and thank you for asking that. So, um, when I thought about holistic development, I think it's universally agreed that any the human being has a mind, right? So the mental aspect, we have a spiritual aspect to us, we have a physical aspect to us, um, and some people will take that a step further and say there's an emotional aspect or a relationship aspect. So I looked at all these different aspects that encompasses one human being, and it's what is necessary for this human to develop and be able to be functional in life, to be able to not just survive in life, but thrive in life. And what are the basic fundamental components of a human being? A human being is going to need in order to, thrive, right, in their environment. And I don't believe that you can just focus on the mental, right? You can't just
Yes.
go to school and just learn and just learn and study, and then become a really smart person, and that's it. I don't think you can just focus on the spiritual either, right? Because we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. So
Wow.
you can't
Wow.
just go extreme one way and say I'm just gonna devote my life just to being spiritual, because you still got to put food on the table. You still got to do things in life. Um, and likewise, you can't just focus on your physical development and just go work out and train and just be as physically fit and go hard in the paint, either, right? There has to be a balance of all these things. So as I thought about DFB and what encompasses that goes into a human development, I'm like, well, you got to train the mind, because we all know everything starts in the mind. You got to
Yes.
you gotta encompass the spirit as well, because we're spiritual beings, right? But also you have to train the physical, because the physical and the mental are connected, right? The mental manifests things through the physical, but the physical condition over time also have an impact on the mind and how we feel. And for the vast majority of human beings, we can't just go off into the mountain into Zen mode and just work on our spiritual. We got to work jobs. So
Yes.
to work in the work environment and function in society, your body needs to hold up. So you got to focus on developing your physical too, so you can be functional, so you can get the most usage and mileage out of your body as possible, right? And then we're biological beings. We're not just logical beings. We're biological beings, which means that we have emotions, and we have emotions that affect the way we feel, and that are the driving force behind our actions throughout the day as well. So we have to develop our emotions as well as the physical, the mental, the spiritual, right? And
Yes.
what encompasses under the holistic development of DFB develops your mind through personal coaching and personal development. DFB develops your physical through physical consulting and through nutrition consulting. DFB also focuses on your leadership or your profession, or just being able to function in a work environment. So we have leadership, evolution, and awareness development, which whatever part you play or you operate at in a work environment, whether you're a supervisor, a manager, a owner, CEO, entrepreneur, or you're just a regular worker, we have leadership development as well. And so to me, that focuses and encompasses all the basic elemental aspects of a person, that they're able to not just survive or just make it, they're able to thrive, right?
Yes.
And the last point that I'll put is, we focus, it's every, we like to use acronyms for things, right? So it's ART, right? The A stands for authority. We
Wow.
want we want to give people and give them the awareness within themselves that they have the authority over their lives. They don't need permission from anyone to go after what they want, to feel how they want to feel, to think how they want to think, to act how they want to act, to do what they want to do with their lives. We bring people to the awareness that they have control over their lives. They reign supreme over their lives. And the R stands for royalty, right? We're big on self-image, because it's universally known that you cannot outperform your self-image. So if you don't see yourself as a winner, as a champion, if you don't see yourself as royalty and treat yourself as such, then you're not going to be able to exceed that performance, right? So we want people to understand you're a king, you're a queen. Treat yourself as royalty. If you want other people to respect you, then you treat yourself with that same level of respect, dignity, pride, right? And
Yes.
and and again, the authority. And when you're royalty, you're gonna make decisions from a higher level of being and thinking and awareness. And then the T stands for transcendence, which means that it doesn't matter what where you were born and what conditions and circumstances you're in right now. You have the power and the authority to transcend out of that time and that space into another way of being, another way of living, heck, even into another just dimension of operational.
Wow.
Vibrate on a higher level, a higher frequency by feeling good, looking good, acting good, thinking good, and doing good because you choose to, not because of conditions, the circumstances, your situation and the environment, or this person, that person tells you so, tells you how you should feel, or dictate the way you feel. Transcend above that and live life on another level, another dimension, another playing field above all that. And that's what we want to empower, and goes into the holistic development of all the clients that come and work with us here at DFB.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you very much for sharing, Sai. Well, listening to you, I just feel so inspired right now. Like, man, sign me up real quick. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and this is to our listeners, around the world. If you're curious, what is this man talking about? Check him out. Check out our website, www.deadlyfitbodies.com. All right, everything he's talking about, every material, every services, he's talking about is provided in that, on that website. So take a look at that. All right, and then we'll go from there. All right, so you spoke about what we do for our clients, and if I'm your client, man, you have so much to offer to me. All right. So now to our listeners, like, what should they expect from listening, tuning into our podcast, on a weekly basis, coming back for more? Why should our listeners come back for more? What do we have to offer to them?
So, we want to bring realistic, real world, real lifetime solutions, topics, discussions, and solutions to the table, right? People are good at talking about what the problems are that exist in society today, or the conditions and the problems and issues that are facing the individual human being themselves. I'm results oriented, and I'm about building, right? I'm not about destroying. I'm about building. I'm about finding solutions. How can we put things together, the best of all practices and the best of all worlds, put them together and find realistic and practical solutions, answers, right? We need leaders, and we need people that have answers to the challenges that are facing us, not just giving us a cookie cutter speech or just telling us things, motivational things for us to feel good. But then when we walk away, we're like, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, what do I do? Which direction do I go from here? So the topics, man, that we're going to cover are surrounded this holistic development. We're going to talk about fitness and the artistry of fitness.
Wow.
We're going to talk about nutrition and the artistry of nutrition, and how do you go about living a well-balanced lifestyle. We're going to talk about personal development and the different elements of the human being, to get that person developed more holistically, the mental, the spiritual, the emotional, the physical. We're going to also talk about leadership, because that's a huge market right now in the world, right, in the workplace. People are quitting jobs, people are quitting people. So we're going to talk about those things, and how can you, as a person that's in the work environment right now, from wherever you're at, how can you elevate yourself? How can you elevate your game, and lead more effectively, or enhance your working abilities, right? So we're gonna have those topics, and we're gonna the intent is to bring solutions to the table. It's not just to It's not enough to motivate people. What we're looking is to inspire people and to give them like solutions and practical applications, a practical process and approach that they can apply on their daily lives in order to get results.
Wow.
I am results oriented. If it's not bringing me results, I don't. Period.
Wow, that is amazing, man. Look, if you're listening to this, I bet you want to come back every week and listen to our episode on each podcast we're going to be releasing. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it, Just a little bit again about Sai, like everything is said. As I said earlier, when I started, he's my personal coach, my personal mentor, my business partner. And, we started this journey not too long ago. And I'll tell you, my life has been transformed, through, his visions and just the lives that, he's been touching, his clients. My goodness, like you have to see the transformation. And moving on, through this podcast, we're gonna have some of them give their testimony on, the transcendence that occurred in their life. Just with a matter of weeks. We're talking about like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or less than that. The transformation that occurs. So, sir, just one last question. Before we finish this introduction, for the podcast, it was just to get our listeners excited, to get our listeners to know, what DFB is all about. Earlier, you say DFB is about the mind, spirit, biological, emotions. So basically, this is like creating the ultimate human being. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is about, again, the upliftment, the development, and the evolution of the human being, right? A lot of people right now are experiencing a stuck state, right, of being, right? They get to a certain point, they get certain achievements, and they're like, they have this feeling. I did too. I did too. Just over a year ago, I'm like, man, I have tremendous accomplishments in my life, but I feel stuck. I feel like I can do more, I can be more, I can achieve more, I can grow more, I can expand more, I can just experience more. But I didn't know which direction to move into to be able to make that happen. So I felt stuck. And just like a lot of people that I've worked with over the past few months, they feel the same way. They come because they're like, man, I'm stuck. I know there's something inside of me like itching away at that I can express more, but I just don't know how to tap into it and get it out of me. So yeah, DFB, it helps, that person uncover what that is inside of them, through, again, the process that we have in place, the process and the product that we have in place, and it gets them into an actionable state where they're no longer stuck or sedentary. They're actually moving and in motion. And when you're moving and you're working towards something, you are evolving. If you're not moving and you're stuck and you're in one state,
Yes.
or you're doing things that's not serving you, they're not serving your growth, then you're degenerating. You could only go two ways. You can
Wow.
either evolve or you can degenerate, right? That's why dinosaurs aren't here right now, because they became extinct, right? So we're trying to get people in the habit of, igniting that fire or that thing inside of them, that inspiration, to get them to start to evolve and grow, right? And again, to the point where they feel like, you know what, I can transcend above this way of living, this normal way of living and being, and I can become something else, someone else. And they can rinse, wash, and repeat this process over and over and over again for as much as they humanly possibly can, for whatever amount of years they have on this earth, right? It's a continuous process. They don't ever have to stop this process. And they realize that once they get a hold of the stuff that we offer them, they realize, like, I don't have to stop. There's
Yes.
another level, right? They achieved another level. They achieve one level, and they're like, wait a minute. Okay, I got here. There's another level. Let me keep going. And then they keep going, and they get to that point, and they reassess again. And they realize, wait a minute. There's another level, right? There's always other levels. And to me, that's what life is about. Because life, my brother, life is for the living, man.
Oh yes. Say it again. Say it again.
Life is
Wow.
for the living, man. It's for the
Wow.
living.
Wow.
You know, yeah, man. It's not for you to just come stuck, in one space and one time and not doing anything, and you're just sitting around waiting for things to happen, and then you're just reacting to this, and gas prices go up, and you're reacting to that, and then something happens over here, you're reacting to that. It's like you're not living, you're just existing. You're just existing. You're not thriving, you're just surviving, right? We got to get out of this, trying to get people out of this, you know, things being imposed on them and being victims of our conditions and our environments and our circumstance, and put them in another mind state where they realize that, wait a minute, I have the authority to change all of this the moment I choose to. The moment I get up and I realize, and I raise my awareness and realize, like, yo, I don't have to accept this. I don't have to accept this that I'm seeing. I don't have to accept these conditions, these circumstances. I don't have to accept this. I can choose another way. I don't have to feel this way. I can choose another way to feel, right? And then, once a person comes into that type of inner power, watch out, man.
Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wait, that was so much, man. I love the part you say I have the authority. That is so powerful. I remember, when we started working on this, just this term, we studied this term for a good amount of time. And just the realization of, taking control of everything and anything within your bubble, within your environment. And I just wanted to bring to attention, what you said earlier about living and existing. That just like it blew my mind, man. To our listeners, like that, they don't have an idea. That, like, they think living and existing is the same. Can you explain that to us? What's the difference? Like, what does it mean to live? What does it mean to be existing? Like, what's the difference?
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. And again, just like when every other person in life offers their perspective and their opinion on any subject or any topic, it's not the ultimate truth and the fact, or of this is the only law and possibility that there could be in existence. I'm not coming from that perspective. I'm not coming from a platform that's elevated over anyone else, saying that I'm the authoritarian over life and my way and the way that I express it is the ultimate way. I'm just offering my perspective on on this particular topic, right? Because I recognize that I have the authority to choose, right? So I am choosing it. So to answer your question, when it comes to living and existing, I see people day in and day out, and when we're talking about just existing, they go
Wow.
about their way in this programmed type of manner. They challenge nothing. You just tell them, hey, do this, and they do it. Something gets imposed on them, they just do it. They just fall in line. They follow the same routine, same pattern. They do the same things over and over again. And then when something happens in their environment, they complain about it. Oh my gosh, look at the gas prices, it's so high. Oh, and it's ridiculous, and I can't live life now. I can't do what I want to do because the gas prices are high. Oh my gosh, this environment sucks. Man, it's toxic environment. I hate coming to work because of all these toxic people, right? And the list can go on and on and on. And
Yes.
they just accept the conditions that are there in front of them, and they accept that as reality, and that is all there is right now. And again, I can keep going on and on. And I think one of the most intriguing things that I saw a few months ago is that I saw a person that was, down on their luck, right? I don't know why. They were in front of Walmart holding up a sign saying that they need help, donations, whatever, if you can help them. And as I was walking in to Walmart and I saw this person asking for money and, for help with the sign, as I turned and looked away from the person, I looked at the front door of Walmart. There was a huge sign, literally about arms, maybe 2 arms length away from the person, that says, "Now hiring all shifts, $18.95 an hour," or something like that. It was something
Yes.
ridiculous.
Yes.
And I was like, "What?" Like, this guy is standing maybe 2 feet away from a hiring all position sign and is asking for money. And I didn't look down on the person. I'm like, this person is just existing, man. They're not living, because their awareness is so shot that they can't even turn 2 feet and see the sign that says, look, Just go inside, and I swear if they would have just went inside and asked, heck, I would vouch for the person to get a job. You know, but they felt like their conditions and their circumstance of whatever got them to ask for money is all there is. That's the only reality there is, and they accepted it, right? So that to me is just existing, man. That's just, you're just existing at that point. Now, someone that's actually living, listen, I don't care if you have $1 million or you have $1, right?
Yes.
But as long as you get up every day with the intention and the will and the inspiration to make that your best possible day. If you get up with the inspiration and the intention and the willingness to say, you know what, I only have $1 in my pocket, but I'm going to put my best foot forward, my best energy forward. I'm going to keep working towards something because I recognize that there's more to life than the current situation and conditions that I'm in. There's more. And I don't know if I will ever get there, but I am going to make it my duty and my purpose to work towards something each and every single day. And I'll tell you what, man, in 5 years, 10 years, that person may only go from $1 to about $10, $15, $20, I don't know, $30, $100. It doesn't matter. The person is still trying to expand and express their lives towards something, right?
Yes.
And the only thing that's different between the $1 guy and the $1 million girl is just mentality, right? This person now has a process and they have know how to achieve financial success, right? But as long as you're working towards something, man, put your energies towards something constructive. Don't accept your conditions for what they are and say this is all there is, right? And I'm not saying that it's just living and it's just a financial thing. I was just using finances as as a main topic, but that could be anything. It could be the purpose that the person that get up every day and say, you know what, I'm just it's not about finances for me. I'm going to give my time, my energy at the shelter to take displaced youth out to recreation and take them to the park, and they can have fun for 2 hours out of the day before I take them back to the shelter, right? I was in conditions like that, so that's why that example came to mind.
Wow.
But even that person right there is putting their life energies towards something. They're living, they're doing something with their lives, they're working towards something. They're not accepting what is and saying this is all there will be. They're like, no, it got to be something better than this. And I'm going to search and find what that better is, and I'm going to work towards it. And to me, that's living, man.
Wow.
Expanding, expressing, experiencing more, right? Just some people grow up in a particular neighborhood, a town, a village, and they don't know nothing outside of that. How can a world be so big with 7 billion people and you don't know anything outside of where you were born and where you were raised? Like you're not living, man.
Wow, man, my goodness. These conversations that just keep getting better, Stop existing and start living. Like that is very powerful, man. That is very powerful. All right, so like last before the last topic, we're gonna talk about before we call it a day. We keep saying DFB. What does it stand for? Like DFB, is it discipline, focus, balance, desire, faith, or belief?
Yeah, I mean it's that play on words, man. I love to play with words. Because
Yes.
I love to write. I love music, so I love to write. Whether it's music, poetry, just my thoughts. So I just love to play on words. So it's deadly fit bodies, right?
Yes.
But also when you come to deadly fit bodies, we take you through some fundamental principles plus intentional actions that are going to give you results. And some of those fundamental principles, one of them is discipline, right? Discipline is the cornerstone, it's the foundation, it's the bedrock to anything that you do in life.
Yes.
Anything you do in life. If you say, well, I'm talented, I got all the skill, I got all this knowledge, you can have all the whatever, fill in the blank. a disciplined mind, a disciplined person can at some point outmaneuver and out accomplish the most talented of person. I believe that. I believe that. You're
Yes.
right. So
Yes.
discipline is the foundation to everything, in my opinion. My opinion, my perspective, discipline. The F, yes, is for focus, right? Because once you're disciplined and then you add focus on top of it, and when I'm talking about the laser sharp focus to be able to say, this is my plan, this is the direction I'm going, this is all I'm going to allow to occupy my mind. I'm not worried about gas prices. I'm not worried about what the latest gossip is. I don't even care that this person got traded off of this team to the other team, right? Because that doesn't affect my way of life or my living. I have to stay focused on the task at hand because I want to live. I want to get to the other side. I want to know what's on the other side. I want to get out of this space, right? And this familiarity that I've been living in my entire life. I want to know what's over there, right? Because I want to see what the beauties and the wonders of this world. I've traveled this world, man. This world is beautiful, man. So I'm
Yes.
gonna
Yes.
stay
It is.
focused. I'm gonna stay focused on what I have to do for me, my family, and to where I'm going. Boom. And then balance, right? You can't do too many things in excess. You can't do two things in excess. Nothing in excess is good, right? Nothing in excess is good, right?
Yes.
My one of the spiritual masters that I studied under gave me I think the perfect analogy to balance, right? And he said, take water, right? If you are dying of thirst, a glass of water can save your life, right?
Yes. Yes.
You know, if you're dying, if you don't have water, you go without water, you're dying of thirst. But if you have no water, you go to the extreme, you can die of thirst. So a glass of water will save your life. But if you go and jump in the ocean, you can drown. So the same thing that can save,
Wow, that
same
is
thing that
mind
can,
blowing. My
yeah.
goodness. My goodness. Wow.
Yeah, same thing that could save your life could also kill you in excess. You know what I mean? So everything in life is about balance, man. You do one thing on the left, you got to do it on the right. I put a lot of time and attention and energy, externally on my job. I got to put all of that same amount. If I put 8 hours on my job, I better be putting 8 hours on myself.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And
Yes.
in my opinion, I think you should work more on yourself than you even do on your job.
Yes.
But that's another conversation we could visit, right?
Oh,
But then
yes.
also, as I'm doing all this work on myself, if I'm doing all the work on myself mentally, I got to do work on myself physically. If I do work on myself physically, I need to do work on myself emotionally. If I do work on myself emotionally, I now have to be able to express this physical, mental, and emotional, right, work into a relationship and balance that out with other people, right? I think of balance also like or the way we express our energies, kind of like the solar system, man. If you're the sun, right, everyone and everything in your environment that's revolving around you can't get the same amount of light and energy and attention from you, man. Some people gotta be Pluto, where you give them a little bit and then you downgrade them and say you're no longer a planet, man. You're just a rock out there, man, and you stay out there. I'll see you on your next lap around, right? But then those people and the things closest to you, they get a lot of your shine and a lot of your attention and a lot of your energy because they deserve it and they need it, but you also, right, so balance, man, like, it's never going to be perfect, but you always got to be aware that you have to give appropriate time, attention, and energy to the important things in your life, so you're living more holistic. You can't just go all in on just eating clean and not eating certain things as well in life, man. Like you want to balance that stuff out, but you don't want to go too extreme one way or the other, right? So,
Yes.
yeah, and again, that's another topic we can explore on another discussion, man. But that's the DFB, and then the desire, faith, and believe, right? So when we're talking about we're trying to cultivate these things within ourselves, it starts with desire, brother. It starts with desire. Your desire got to be in the pit of your stomach, man. And like when you get up, you're like, I want this so bad that there's nothing else outside of this. And that's whatever it is. and there's a lot of people that are still fighting and still trying to fight and find, things that they desire. And to me, it's easy. Just go back to when you were a kid, man. You used to sit around and you see a car and you're like, no, that's my car. That's my car right there. Oh, that's my house. And then you let that childlike genius play. And then you're like, oh my gosh, then you start to realize, like, yo, I really want this, right? And then the faith, right? I don't even think I need to touch on faith, man. We understand what faith is. You got to have faith in something, right? And then when you hit those two, then believe, man. And if you're like, man, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that, believe in yourself then. Believe in yourself then. If you're like, I don't want to believe in nothing I can't smell, see, touch, taste, or hear, well, you can see, touch, smell, taste, and hear you. Well, believe in you. Start there, and then let that express itself into other avenues of your life. But yeah, man, that's I try to keep things simple, brother, and practical for people, for the common and the layman's. Sometimes I think people. That's why I said between the spiritual realm and then the scientific realm, and then the metaphysical realm. People, they use these words and these expressions and these terms, and I'm like, I don't understand what that means.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
when I do understand what it means, I'm like, well, how do I do that? And it gets so convoluted and so complicated. And don't get me wrong, I respect all those avenues of approach, because different folks, different strokes for different folks, man. Do what best fits you and your lifestyle, right? And what makes sense to you and what's practical to you. For me, if you like it, I love it. If you're getting results from it, hey, man, keep at it. But if you're not getting results, I would challenge you to take the step back and re-examining what you're doing, how you're doing it, and why you're doing it, and see, like, could there be something else? Is there another way that I can go about living my life or cultivating myself to get the most out of my life? Right?
Yes.
So that's what it's about, man. We try to keep things practical. We keep it simplistic for a child should be able to understand this and explain it. If a child cannot explain this, it's too complicated. If I can't teach this to my kid, then it's too complicated. I got to break it down.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I got to keep this thing simple, man. So yeah, that's really what it is, man. Well, we don't need to, get overly, and it's the same principles just being presented in a different manner, to me, in a more digestible approach, and it hits multiple different avenues all at once. That makes the transformation and the learning process that much more efficient and that much more effective, and a lot faster, in my opinion, than if you were to just go sit and meditate all alone, or if you just went and studied and developed your mind, or if you just went and just hit the gym. I'm just going to hit the gym and work out. Nah, you got to hit all of that stuff.
Yes, you're right about that. You're right about that. Man, I love the fact that, you said it's so simple, and basic, like if you can't explain it to your kid, then there's no point in this, if people can have a difficult time understanding this concept of life, this way of living, then there's an issue, and that's the stuff, people try to use big words, people try to sound intelligent, they want to sound smart, and they forget the simple basic of what communication is. Communication is so that whoever I'm communicating to, they are able to understand, translate, whatever word I'm telling to them. So I love the fact that, DFB is about keeping it simple and applying it to your life daily. Applying it to your life daily. Wow, thank you very much for that, Sire. I'm pretty sure, you got our listeners all excited. They're looking forward to next week. They're looking forward to tuning into our podcast on a weekly basis, because what we have to offer to the world, what DFB have to offer to the world, man, I'm telling you, just brace for impact. That is all I'm going to say. Brace for impact, all right? Because everything you learn in here is going to be applicable to your life. Everything you learn here is a tool for you. When we started, we say you have the authority. That is what all this is all about. That is what it's all about with our clients. Like, you have the authority. You can take control of everything in your life, in your circumstance, Don't let that define you. So thank you very much again. So if anyone have any questions, You feel free to visit our Instagram page, which is deadly_feet_bodies. All right, again, it's going to be deadly_feet_bodies. And we'll have a YouTube page too as well. The YouTube page is Deadly Feet Bodies, which is live and active as well. All right, and this is going to be our podcast channel. We're very, very excited and we're happy. You guys tune into this, and we'll see you again next week. All right, remember, stop existing, start living. All right, desire, faith, and believe. Out.